I scaled my content agency to over $200,000 a month, and then I fired myself. And when I thought it would burn to the ground with not me being involved in every single project, every single thing going on inside of the agency, it is doing better than ever. And in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through a few of the different pillars that allowed me to go from working in my business all the time, being bogged down, feeling like there's really no end in sight to my agency, to being able to empower our team, grow our team to a point where I was able to hire a CEO. Let's get into it. For those who don't know me, I basically started a content agency back in 2018. Really started it out of having been really, I guess, skilled in social media and skilled in just the ability to use social media to get clients. I was selling real estate at the time, and I was able to generate business from social media, and then people kept asking me for help. And I got to a point where on the picture on the screen here, this was pretty much me. I was sitting at my desk all day working all the time because I pretty much created a job for myself. I would get all these clients and I'd be like, yeah, I'm grinding entrepreneur. But the reality is that it was just a job. I had jobs and it was a freelance, and people were hiring me for myself, not for any other reason. They just wanted to work with me. As we continued to scale, I brought on a small team, me, Mark, and Peter. This was like the three of us inside of our apartment, which was the headquarter one of our agency. And at this time I was like, okay, cool. It's not just me anymore. I got a team. I need to figure out how I can start running this as a business. So what I did is I started treating my business not as a job for myself or being everything around me. I knew I needed to create some predictability, some scalability. I needed to hire people. I needed to get client results. I needed to productize everything. I needed to make it actual legit if I wanted to scale it beyond just the three of us inside of our 2-bedroom apartment. Fast forward, we were able to execute a lot of that, and we were able to move into our first office space. So this is our first office space in Bellevue, Washington. We were able to land it, had a studio, all that sort of stuff, and we were able to scale to a team of around 10 at that time. And what I also started to do is I started to get more stuff off of my plate so that we can begin to scale. And that resulted in us literally outgrowing this space and doubling our space. And we were able to hit 7 figures multiple years in a row, multiple pay in fulls, scale to a decently sized team of full-time employees, which you can see here. And after about 5 years of being CEO, founder of the agency, we came to a decision as a company to make Mark the CEO of the agency. I wanted to move down to San Diego with my wife. I had the agency up in Seattle and knew I couldn't practically live in San Diego and run the agency up there. Throughout the transition, yes, I'm still the founder of Braintegic, but now what I'm really doing is I'm taking everything that I've learned from being burnt out, bogged down, being kind of on this hamster wheel, having a job, to helping agencies just like yourself grow and scale through Agency U, which is our consulting program where we've helped literally hundreds of agencies. I've gotten 462 plus testimonials from agencies. You can go literally just on our website and go to our case studies and see how we've installed everything that myself and my business partner have learned from scaling our agencies to multiple 7 figures into other agencies. Everything from the offer to creating predictability from a client perspective by plugging in our authority funnel so you can actually grow and scale and add more revenue to your business, to transitioning to an actual CEO and getting systems in place. We actually plug in the agency operating system inside of your business and help you hire and actually become a CEO, because there's a lot of agencies out there who are just glorified freelancers and pretty much just have a job for themselves. And our mission is really to help you become a true CEO inside of your business. So all that to say, I'm going to walk through exactly how I was able to go from glorified freelancer to hiring a CEO inside of my business, and just go through 4 different key things that I think are going to be super important. Let's get into it. The first real pillar that I want to hit on is going to be productizing the offer. When I first started my agency, when I talked to so many agencies, they are of this impression that I start an agency and I become a yes man. I'm going to do email, content, video, editing, all the things that the client wants, because we don't want to say no to our clients. We don't want to say no to revenue because the client's just going to go somewhere else and we're going to miss on this money and it's going to be the end of the world. So that is the mindset of myself when I first started my agency, as well as many agencies that I talk to. And that's great. Like, we don't want to turn down revenue when we're starting off, but what we need to begin to do is we need to look at our business, like our service, as a product. So when I say productizing our offer, basically what we just need to do is we need to get our clients from their pain to their outcome. That's pretty much what your business is. is, I have a lot of different videos on this throughout my channel. We need to just realize that our clients don't care about email, content, video. They care about the outcome that we can provide to them. And we need to look at our business as our service as a product. And how do we get in a product that gets our clients from the pain to the outcome? As far as getting our clients from the pain to the outcome, there's probably a bazillion different ways that you can get them here. Like you could do landing pages, you could do email, you could do SEO, you could do PPC, da da da. So what we basically did is we took what we were doing and we began to productize what we were doing in a simplified way. So we created what we call steps to desired outcome. This became the pillar number one, where it was like, okay, what are the actual steps of getting our clients from where they are to where they want to go? We're gonna do onboarding, we're gonna do strategy, we're gonna do content day, we're gonna post the content, we're gonna do analytics, so call. This is our productized offer. And once we're able to do this, we were able to productize the steps, because now we're not just looking at this as like, oh, I'm the bottleneck and I'm gonna sell whatever I have the ability to sell and I just need to get the client through the door. No, we're selling our steps to outcome. And then how we begin to look at this is we say, who can I plug in eventually to help do that step, 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 help do that step. And now, not only is this productized, but it's delegatable, it's repeatable, it's scalable. So now we have defined steps of how we're getting our clients from the outcome. We have the person that could potentially do each step. Now, all I need to do from a productization perspective, or just like looking at it, is I can eventually get this to a point where I can just SOP each steps. And eventually, when I plug somebody in, I'll be able to train them. So that is really the productization of our offer. The point is, we have our productized offer that are clear defined steps, and we're being disciplined with it. After I was able to productize my offer, the next thing that we need to begin to do is create systems for each step of the process. Systems like onboarding system, fulfillment system, task system, hiring system. Anything that you do inside of your business should have a system attached to it. Let's just start with onboarding system. So the moment a client says yes is the moment they have buyer's remorse. So let's just say this is the step of onboarding. What happens all the time, and what used to happen a lot for me, is I would get a new client and I would onboard them and it would be manual, and we'd almost like kind of tense up because, oh gosh, here we go. Like, let's just hope this goes smoothly. I got to send this manual email at this step. I got to do this at this step. I got to make sure they get onboarded. Or it would be the case of like lack of boundaries, because usually when you're on a sales call, when you're a smaller business, the client's like, yeah, can we start tomorrow? Like, can we do this tomorrow? And there's no defined process. And then you cave in and you're like, yeah, we can start tomorrow. And there's no actual expectation set up. So when it comes to onboarding process, basically what we did is we automated it to have a defined system, to set boundaries with clients, and to ultimately provide a freaking killer experience, not only for the clients, but for the internal team, so that it can be smooth operational. So the first thing that we did is we created like a sales intake form. So basically what the sales intake form does is it's a simple form that asks like basic information, client contact information, deliverables, all that sort of stuff. And what happens when we fill out this form is they're going to be triggered with sending contract, add to Notion, like any sort of notifications. Main trigger of filling out the sales intake form is going to be sending them a contract automatically. So basically what happens is it automates the input of information from the intake form into the contract using Zapier. We use e-signatures for the contract. You can use your choice of forms, but Zapier will connect the two. So now basically the next trigger, I guess if that's what you want to call it, is going to be when they sign the contract. We want to send a welcome email and have them book onboarding call. When they actually sign the contract, we connect Zapier again to automatically send them a welcome email with a link to the onboarding form. And then once they get the onboarding form, they're expected to fill this out. And once they fill out the onboarding form, now they're going to send an email or a redirect to book call. Now you have a place to set expectations. You have the onboarding form. They've taken through the process. You have all the information that you need in order to have a call in a proper, productive, structured onboarding call, so it's not a freaking madhouse when you do it. Other systems are things like, the fulfillment system, task system, hiring system, again, anything that you do system. So what we did at Agency U is we built out, or pretty much duplicated and copied, what we call an agency operating system. So if you're working off of your notes, off of Google Sheets, off of all these different platforms, and you don't have a structured pathway of doing your fulfillment, of managing your tasks, of fulfilling for your clients, of keeping your clients organized, or if it's in 10 different places, I'm sorry, you're never going to be able to scale beyond yourself. We need the infrastructure that can actually handle the scale. Systems run the business, people run the systems, and we need the systems that we can plug into our business so that we can plug people into those systems so that business can actually grow. And this is something that I would start focusing on as soon as possible. Like, even if it's just you and you have a vision that you want to scale and grow, grow and grow beyond yourself and hire a team and all that cool stuff, start building your systems now. A couple of systems just from like a viewpoint perspective is like a client operating system. So when we get a new client, we always pop our clients inside of here so that we can see all of our clients in one dashboard. This is literally the template inside of Agency U. We have the client directory. We have a list of all the client wins. If we pop in here on the client, we can see like a list of everything stored inside of here, meeting notes, all that good stuff, client portals, a client approval process, everything is stored within here. So when we get a new client, we automatically add them here into the client OS. So we can start to track, we can see the status, the date started, how long have they been with us, all the really important information that oftentimes gets lost. Another system that I really like is our fulfillment funnel. So I know that if I'm going to follow this productized offer for my client, I need to figure out how I'm going to manage all these steps involved in here and hold people accountable. So instead of checking in all the time, we need to put this into a system, project management system, a fulfillment system. So what we did is we developed a fulfillment funnel inside of Notion, which you can see here. And this, again, guys, we do this all for you. If you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, I need these systems because I know this would take me to the next level, click the link down below to book a call. Basically, what we can do is we can basically pop open a project. We can see all of the tasks associated with that project. We can see who it's assigned to, all that sort of stuff. We can see all the fulfillment related tasks. So if it's a specific client, who it's assigned to, when it's due, all of that good stuff. We can pop this open. We can see like all of the details of the piece of content that we're going to create. So that way, when you're assigning it to an editor, for example, all they need to do is they need to pop into their editor view and they're able to see, here's all the projects that I'm working on that are ready to edit, editing, ready for review, all that sort of stuff. I can do the same thing with the person that needs to approve the post. I can do the same thing with the person that needs to actually post it, because content, if we're doing content for our clients, it's just a funnel. Same thing with tasks. It's just funneling tasks from ready to start to then. And you can also like manage expectations with the team. You can manage expectations and assign due dates and all that sort of stuff and see if they're doing well and if they're hitting their tasks and if they're overwhelmed or if they're not overwhelmed. We need a fulfillment process. At the end of the day, guys, we need systems. We need the infrastructure to scale because the systems run the business. And if you're watching this and you don't have systems, I would highly encourage you to start implementing systems, build this stuff out ASAP. The next is like learning to hire. So when I was first hiring, I would hire incorrect. I would just throw somebody in the deep end, hope that they do well, verbally communicate everything that I wanted to do. And if you're watching this right now, like we're already doing the first step of hiring, which is having systems in place so that when we do hire somebody, they're actually set up for success. When I think about hiring, this is where you as an agency owner are. What I'm thinking about is here's like everything that I'm doing right now. And maybe this is like all of the different steps like editing, posting, emails, whatever, videography, client calls, whatever, sales. We need to look at our pie chart of everything that we're doing. And when you think all of these tasks that I'm doing, what can I get off of my plate? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to drag and drop. Okay, I'm going to get, client calls. I'm going to get emails. I'm going to get project management off of my plate. So what I'm doing is I'm basically just looking at all the tasks that I'm doing throughout the day. And I'm saying, okay, cool. What could I hand off and create a position from? Cool. I could hand off project management, client communication, sending content to clients. Perfect. You're already doing this in some way, shape, or form. So what you just basically need to do is you need to say, write everything involved in doing this. What happens is this becomes the roles of the role, and this becomes the responsibilities. Let's just say for this one, this is like client success manager. So now what we want to do is we want to take everything involved in doing this and we want to create KPIs for this. So what are these smart expectations? AKA, how does this team member have success? So for project management, make sure all projects are updated daily by the team members. Client communication, do a Tuesday check-in with each client. Sending content to clients. Send all clients content by specific date. Rinse and repeat. And then what we can do is we can then formulate the first thing, which would be a job description. We need to basically create a job description, just the method that I did it. Create the pie chart. What are all the roles that you're doing that you want to get off your plate? What are all the responsibilities that you're doing and list them out? And what are the KPIs for that person? So what I can do is I can go to helpful Mr. or Mrs. ChatGPT. I can say, create me a job description for client success manager using the format of roles, responsibilities, smart expectations, roles, project management, client communication, same thing. Responsibilities, list responsibilities for each role, list smart expectations for each role. Let's see what this comes up with. Responsibilities, project management, oversee, manage clients, smart expectations. And this is a great starting point because what this allows you to do is it gives you the responsibilities from what you wrote down. Then it gives you expectations, meaning how do they actually do well. So all we really need to do is we need to create systems to track the KPIs that we've put into place. How am I going to manage this? So this is where it becomes like a little bit of pressure for you, not pressure, but these are the details. This is the boring work that is essential for setting your team up for success. Because if you don't have a way to measure completion rate or quality rating or anything like that, or manage due dates, like they're not going to have success because there's no measurement system in place. So this is where you need to, before hiring someone, make sure you have all of this set up inside of your systems so that when you plug them in, not only can they crush their responsibilities, but they can crush the smart expectations. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this, and this can be our job description 2.0. The other thing, like just from my last point that made me think about was this is the boring work that is actually going to be needle moving inside of your agency. Like the people that you see that are doing that well have all of this boring work super dialed in. Any successful business person that you know has all of this super dialed in. If you can take the time to nail this and do this right, from picking the responsibilities, discovering the role, creating the role, being thoughtful with the responsibilities, being thoughtful with the KPIs, being thoughtful with the job description, you're going to set that person up for success so that they can do the things that you were doing and you can buy your time back. So the other thing that I want to just note on when it comes to hiring, like let's just use client success, for example. One thing that we do that I am a big fan of is creating what's called a winning formula, a daily winning formula. What this is like a daily task that gets added to the client success manager's plate, because they're probably doing a lot. What the daily winning formula is basically a daily checklist that they can go through to make sure that they're meeting or exceeding expectations. So I would 110% do this early on, because again, your goal as a CEO is to do everything that you can in your power to set your team up for success. Inside of your task management system, what I would do is I would create a daily task for your clients that is a daily winning formula. For example, like what that looks like is we have client success managers at Agency, and they have a daily winning formula of make sure all links have been sent to clients, make sure all clients have been responded to, send all post-call updates, send or update Airtable, update this, update that based off of this. And that's something that I created for them. They knew that every day, if they pop in, these are all the things that they need to do throughout the day and just make sure that they need to do. But it really sets the person up for success. What a daily winning formula looks like, basically the prompt that I would say is I would say something like, using this job description, create me a daily checklist for all things I should be doing on a daily or weekly basis. And this is also assuming that you have a job description like super dialed in and it's like all of your responsibilities, so it would make a lot of sense. Write it in checkbox format for Notion. Now what I can do is I can literally like take this, I can go to Notion, I create a page, daily winning formula, and this becomes a daily winning formula for the person. What we can do is we can basically create this task every single day for them. We can automate that to happen every single day for them so that they know, oh, I need to review this, I need to do this. It's like their daily checklist. Like that's what it means to me to really learn to hire. So it's 1, identifying the right hire, 2, creating the roles, responsibilities, and expectations, and then 3, setting that person up for success. We already talked about systems, so we're assuming that they have systems in place. It's really tying that all together. And really the last thing of this would just be onboarding. We can't expect somebody to jump on and be like an expert within the first week. A lot of people hire somebody and think, oh, finally I hired somebody and they're onboarded this week and I can finally get stuff off of my plate. I kind of look at this as like almost like a slingshot, where it's like, oh my gosh, this is so much work. I feel like everything's gonna like pop, break, whatever. I'm really stretched right now. I'm doing so many things. I'm training. I'm getting this person set up for success. I'm answering all these questions. And then eventually what happens is once they're trained, once they're onboarded, it releases and they're actually doing a better job than you, because you've spent time training them, because you've set them up for success, because you've been able to equip them with everything that they need in order to succeed. If you can do this with every single role that you are hiring, if you have positions right now, great. If you're looking to hire, this is the method to do it. Your job in this hiring the right way is your chief expectations officer, your chief tool provider with the systems. Like your job is to really just set everybody up for success. And now the last thing that I just really want to hit on is simply just like multiplying others. Leadership to me is simply multiplication, right? If I can do everything that I can do meaning I can have a productized offer. I can create systems that somebody can fulfill. I can learn to hire and train somebody on those systems. The next rule, like how that really helped me, was realizing my job isn't to get as many clients, be the best videographer, be the best social media poster, be the best photographer. It's how do I multiply everything that I'm doing into other people and train them up to be better than I am, and really multiply what I'm doing into other people. It's leadership. Like, the common denominator is when you get to a point where you are no longer just relying on you, it becomes feeding into your team, and your team becomes your most important client because they're the people that are actually dealing with the clients. Because if you can make your team better, if you can multiply your team, if you can make them really good and really passionate and bought into what you're doing, then they're going to do really well for the client, and that's going to create more clients. There's gold in other people. It's our real job is to find it. And really what we want to do is we want to multiply ourselves and then multiply others so that they can multiply themselves down the line. Guys, I know this was a lot. If you're watching this and if you're like, dude, I need to figure out how to productize my offer, I need to figure out all these systems, I need to learn how to hire so that I can get stuff off of my plate and actually build a business because I'm a glorified freelancer, I'm doing everything myself and I don't see an end in sight, click the link down below, guys. Super encourage you to book a call with our team. We can shortcut you significantly by installing literally everything that you just saw inside of your agency so that you can actually become a true CEO and not just create a job for yourself and feel like you're on this hamster wheel, guys. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more content like this.